There are three major catalysts coming that you need to pay attention to. We're going to break down those three catalysts. They're going to really shape and accelerate the cryptocurrency space. And I've been trying to tell you guys, when they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. Today, we're going to share with you where Bo Hines went, the executive director for Trump, when he stepped down. What? He is now working with Tether? I thought everybody said Tether was going to collapse. Bitcoin was going to collapse. Try to understand the game. Watch what the big money is doing. I've been sharing it with you since 2020 what BlackRock is doing. And then when the Trump family started getting involved, I'm sharing you what the Trump family is actually doing. So pay attention to the game. Get out of the emotion, build a long-term plan, and make sure that you're on the right side of this by 2030. You're either going to own it or you're going to be consumed by it. There'll be no middle ground. As Rosie Rios said, the freight train has left the building. And I used to say this in corporate America. The freight train has left the building. It's a freight train of success. You're going to get on board and go for the ride of your life, or you're going to get ran over by it. But the fact is, everybody's going to have to get on this train. So we're going to dive right in. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how Bo Hines just made the big announcement of why he stepped down as the executive director for Trump around digital assets. Everybody's saying Tether was going to collapse, Bitcoin's going to collapse, MicroStrategy's strategy B is going to collapse. But I think it's important to go a little bit deeper into what is actually happening. There's an infrastructural change. That's what's happening, guys. Bitcoin is a new gold. Things like XRP, XLM are the new bridge currencies. Things like HBAR, Solana, Ethereum are the new layer one infrastructural change of the financial system. Things like Algorand are going to tokenize your stock market. Things like VeChain are going to revolutionize supply chain. It's not some big grand conspiracy. It's always been the same. The dot-com boom, the auto boom, the AI boom, and the crypto boom. The difference is you have all of this information at your fingertips to get involved. So Bo Hines, he says, I'm thrilled to join Tether. Huge thanks to @Paulo Del Reno and the team for the warm welcome. Excited to help build an ecosystem of digital asset products that set the standard for compliance, innovation, empowering U.S. consumers, and reshaping our financial system. The best is yet to come. Tether announces Tether appoints former White House Crypto Counsel Executive Director Bo Hines as Director for Digital Assets in the U.S. strategy. Okay, so let's dive into the three catalysts that you need to pay attention to. And if you're in the Warrior Academy, we're going to be breaking this down at a deep level on Thursday. We understand what the catalysts are. We understand the logical circuit, looking at history and understanding what's about to happen in the future. Okay, so the three major catalysts that are happening right now is Trump becoming the president of peace. So the White House posted, everyone is very happy about the possibility of peace for Russia and Ukraine. At the conclusion of the meeting, I called President Putin. At the conclusion of the meetings, I called President Putin and began arrangements for a meeting. Okay. Then this was posted by the White House again. President Donald Trump, the president of peace, Nobel Prize. So this is a big piece that you want to pay attention to. Okay. Presidents who have a business mindset, Trump is here to bring the public and private sector together. It's not by chance that Bo Hines stepped down to go lead Tether into the U.S. markets here. Okay. RLUSD by Ripple. Ripple is going to be a dominant force in the stablecoin game. Trump family now has the fastest growing stablecoin, USD1. Here's the difference between Trump and politicians. Trump loves competition. Business people, I love competition. Competition is absolutely remarkable and healthy for businesses. Okay. It creates innovation. It creates growth. It creates demand. There's abundance for every single person. So you got Howard Lutnick, who is his right-hand person, the Commerce Secretary for our country. Okay. Who is going to be a billionaire in Bitcoin, who owns Cantor, who gives loans to crypto companies. That is the Commerce Secretary for our country. Bo Hines steps down to go bring Tether into the U.S. markets or to build the infrastructure in the U.S. markets. You need to pay attention to what is actually happening. So the first catalyst you want to pay attention to is the peace deals happening in America. The second catalyst you're going to need to pay attention to is the US to cut rates in September and once more this year, says economists. Okay. 30 days from now, I think it's almost 30 days from now, about 28 days from now, Fed Jerome Powell is going to announce whether they're going to cut rates or not. Okay. If he doesn't, you should prepare for the markets to respond very unfavorably. Okay. If he does, you should expect that the markets are going to do very well. So this is how we stay stoic. For example, yesterday, Monday, which would have been the 18th of August, 2025, we woke up to a red day. We celebrate on red days. We are long-term holders. We have fundamental profit plans. We don't panic when it turns red. We enter when it turns red, and we profit take when it turns green, which I'll break down on the back end of every video. So write this down. So number one thing you need to pay attention to is the war narrative and peace deals. Number two thing you need to pay attention to is rates being reduced. Okay. Now, with rates being reduced, what's going to happen is that's going to reduce the demand for the US dollar. What happens when the US dollar value goes down, the world's reserve currency, big money goes into assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, now fixed supply assets. Okay. The next catalyst you need to pay attention to is going to be October. Now, I don't mean to burst people's bubble. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Is mini XRP ETFs. Look at all these XRP ETFs. This is the XRP ETF tracker on Block. Okay, you got Trust Capital, Tudor Capital, Grayscale, Rex, ProShares, 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 while Wisdom Tree, CoinShares, 21 Shares, Canary, Bitwise. I think there's 20 ETFs for XRP waiting to get approved. Do you realize what type of catalyst this is going to create, family, for XRP demand? Okay, you got Ethereum, we got Bitcoin. Then we're going to have XRP. I told you guys the top two are going to be Bitcoin and XRP when all the dust settles. Okay. So that's why you have to build a long-term horizon. Okay. Now the SEC postpones approval for Trump's media's True Social and other crypto ETFs till October. So there's something happening. Obviously, October, there's something happening that we can't personally see. Okay. So that's really important to understand. There's a game playing out that's much bigger than us. There's a whole ecosystem that's being created behind the scenes. Bo Hine stepping down, bringing Tether into the global markets, or into the US market. We got the RLS, the Ripple stablecoin. We got Trump's got the fastest growing stablecoin. They got the World Liberty Financial, their own DeFi platform. Trump is single-handedly dismantling the central bank. He said 7 years ago, we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before we know it. Okay, so don't get caught up in the noise. Okay, family, these markets are extremely thin. Let me show you guys. So this is Merlin's smartest way to track your crypto. I'm the co-founder and creator of Merlin. What is that crypto? These weird cryptos keep popping in here. It's interesting right now. So BTC is at 115,000, ETH at 4,200. We got the Bitcoin dominant still under 60%. Okay, the market cap dropped from 4 trillion down to 3.9 trillion. That's important to look at right here, family. The market cap is only 4 trillion. The global markets are 111 trillion. That's your growth, guys. That's how much growth you have over the next 6 to 7 to 10 years. Okay, so don't try to come in here and get rich quick in the next 6 months. First of all, you don't want to do that because it's not going to work. You want to get wealthy for sure by building a game plan. Now, I operate on ecosystems. I don't operate on hope. I don't operate on hype. I operate on strict, disciplined ecosystems. Cash flow. I move cash flow into deflationary assets or creating more cash flow and passive income. From there, I profit take and I put it into life insurance, cash value life insurance, which creates the fourth component, which is leverage. Okay, then I use leverage responsibly. Most Americans in the middle class, this is how they keep us in the debt trap, is most middle class and Americans use debt to extend their buying power without increasing their earned income, keeping themselves in a debt cycle. That's why interest rates are the biggest catalyst, right? If they lower interest rates, it gets the Ponzi scheme going again, gets the flywheel going again. We have more debt than we have income. You get paid in my debt, I get paid in my income is your debt is my income. I use leverage, okay, to buy assets and cash flow. So I create cash flow every single week. Okay, by using cash flowing dividends. Okay, you got high risk dividends, you got medium risk dividends, you got things that are deal with options trading, right? You can get large amounts of returns in a short amount of time, but I de-risk from those. You got things like, Michael Saylor has dividends out there, right, that are 10% guaranteed preferred stocks, right? You have things like Apple, you have things like Coca-Cola, you have dividends that can pay. That's true passive income. Would you rather be Warren Buffett, who makes $1 million a day on Coca-Cola, or would you rather be the CEO that makes about $20 million a year? Do the math, right? So what we're working to do is we're working to take this income that we make. I transmute it into deflationary assets, which is number two, that appreciate. I profit take by using Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. I stuff it into cash value life insurance, richest man in Babylon. I leverage at low leverage to do what? Buy cash flow. We buy cash flow. We put into deflationary assets that grow. We appreciate. We put it into leverage, or we put it into something we can leverage. Richest man in Babylon. Then what do? We buy cash flow. And you have constant cash flow coming in by the time the dust settles back in 2029. Okay, we started this in 2020. We built the ecosystem, right? We started with I call it a liquidity event, right? So 2020 to 2022, we had a big liquidity event with crypto, right? That's just a liquidity event. That's all it is. Most people go up, comes down, or they pull profit and they buy stuff. We pulled profits and we bought cash flow. Okay, from the cash flow, what did we do? When everybody ran from crypto, I bought more deflationary assets like XRP and Bitcoin, Solana, I go over my portfolio all the time here. When those appreciated, when Trump got elected, I started my first profit taking. And then, it's been sideways for a while. We'll go back into profit taking on the back end of this year here. I'll take some more profit. I calmly put it into life insurance, my first bucket. Once those are max funded, the spillover goes into cash generating dividends. From the dividends, what are we getting? Monthly cash flow. Businesses, monthly cash flow. We go back into deflationary assets in the bear market, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029 hits, and that's generational wealth. Okay, we got rich from 2020 to 2025. Wealth is very, very different. Okay, 0 to 5 million, that's you can mess that up. 5 to 10, you're starting to get there. Okay, you're starting to get there. 10 to 20, that's when your life really, really changes and it starts to become generational. Okay, and we can do that in this asset class, but it isn't about trying to hit the lottery, because if you hit the lottery, guess what happens? You're going to, if you haven't changed and understand how finances work and how the ecosystem works, you're going to end up in the exact same situation. Okay, so my top three holdings are XRP, Bitcoin, Solana. My top six: XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, XLM, HBAR, and VeChain. And I have many other cryptocurrencies, but I will be consolidating. So I'm very strategic on how I do my portfolios. I'm going to be consolidating into the top three: XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana for me as I head into 2030. And there'll be other investments out there, right? I'm very, very heavily weighted, not heavily weighted, excuse me, heavily focused on cash generating dividends that pay me large amounts to what? De-risk back into deflationary assets. So I'm stacking my bags every single month by creating cash flow. Okay, very important. Then when I want a liability, okay, when I want the fun stuff, I've been very patient. I have a liability that I've already purchased, and I'll be showing you guys very soon. That was bought through by assets. That thing is easily paid for by OPM, other people's money, done through businesses and things like that. So you only do that type of stuff when you finally build a system that everything is taken care of. Debts and non-negotiables are taken care of by assets. Once your family is secured, then you start to buy the stuff. And then you buy it with OPM, other people's money. Okay. So I hope that information reaches your heart well. If you're like, damn, what is a profit plan? Okay. This is Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. I'm the co-founder and creator of this. It gives you your markets at a snapshot. It's beautiful. It shows all your exchanges in one place. And guess what? This is what I use when I travel, when I connect to other people's Wi-Fi, because this is an interface. This does not connect to your crypto. It's just an interface. Look at this. Look at all the different exchanges it connects to. Okay. It's an interface. They cannot get to your cryptocurrency. Okay. We don't hold your keys. We don't have your crypto. Imagine having an interface where you can see everything in one place. You have all your assets, your daily gains and losses. And then guess what? Boom. You can set up a profit plan. We set it up. Boom. And then what it does is it sends you a text. You're like, awesome. Okay. Well, you're like, what the hell is a profit plan? How do I do that? We got you. How-to videos, education. If you get stuck, you're going to see this little thing pop up right here. Boom. We have actual customer service. We brought back physical customer service. We can actually walk you through it and help you. So we got 30 days for free down below. Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. I am the co-founder and creator of Merlin. And that's how we take profits. I think it's ridiculous. People are like, don't hold. If you're in profit, take profit, man. We're in this to make money, but the key is what you do with that profit. Okay. That's how I operate. You can do what you want. I'm just being honest with you guys what I did. I think money should always be current. I think it should always be moving. Everybody's so afraid of taxes, like, oh, taxes. Yeah, there's short-term, long-term capital gains. But if you're crushing the hurdle rate, right? If you're, if you say you exit and you have to pay some taxes, right? But you get it into cash value life insurance, you leverage it 5%, you get a dividend that's paying you 70%. You take that 70%, you de-risk because it's a high risk dividend. You take that 70% dividend that's paying you back and you get into a deflationary asset. That's what I did. As everybody sat on their money and watched it go up, go down, they're trying to earn 4% on their staking or whatever and stuff like that. I'm freaking crushing these hurdle rates, moving my money around. But that's what I like to do. Money is current. I'm not afraid. I'm not scarce. I'm not holding on to it. That's how you become poor. That's what a bank is. You put it into a bank, they dam it up and it becomes moldy and musty. And so they make it move. They're moving your money all the time, guys. They're moving your money all over the place. Okay. There's many ways you can mitigate taxes through tax liabilities, through businesses. I own 6 companies. That's the greatest way to create tax liabilities, right? I own no personal vehicles. They're all done through my company. Just many ways you can do that. So just study, guys. That's all you got to do. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. God bless you.